Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for this invitation to come and meet with you and to share a few ideas. As Brother Mkolisi has said, I did point out that I have no prophetic gifts. I write books because I tried to do something more useful and failed. And since I've been trained to write, I do that as a defense against total despair. And seeing people like you who are actively engaged in trying to salvage pieces of our wrecked lives gives me some hope that after all, we are not alone. It's a pleasure then to be here, to come and observe, and to the extent that it's possible to participate with you in the work that you're doing. I've been told that your focus today is on the theme of the awakening. I hope to contribute a little bit to your deliberations, and I shall do so by concentrating on the work of an African intellectual who worked for our awakening. His name was Sheikh Anta Diop. Now, if we are concerned with our awakening, it's because we've been asleep. Now, we were put to sleep by historical catastrophes. And you know, when people get into an accident, they need to go to sleep in order to survive the accident. If you are totally conscious when it happens, you won't survive. So sleep is sometimes useful. But after sleep, we have to wake. Now, since these catastrophes began, our minds have been kept in a sleepy state of ignorance through a series of cultural and intellectual anesthetics. Dope. Now, sometimes the dope is called religion, Islam, Christianity, and we go to it looking for relief. I mean, people don't take dope because they are evil, they take it because they're suffering and they think that it will ease their suffering. Now, whatever the different names of the dope that we fill ourselves with, the effect is the same, to make us think we are nothing. Now, the awakening means for us that we need to regain knowledge of ourselves. There's something that we are. To do that, we have first of all to end our addiction to the poisons that put us to sleep. Secondly, we need to cultivate healing values that will help us remake ourselves and then remake the universe. Now, such work requires careful preparation aimed at analyzing and seeing through the false values directed against us. After that, we also need to identify the regenerative values and put them at the center of our own conversations, our behavior, and our institutions. You see, I'm not talking about speeches. I mean conversations, because speeches are wonderful events, but they're just events, they're not processes. They happen and then they can be forgotten. Conversations we always have, every day, and the things we do every day are more important than the fantastic things we do once in a while and forget them. Behavior, because it is possible for us to know what is right to do and even to say it, to utter it. But if we cannot integrate it into our behavior, it is worse than useless, because it serves only as a mask for the wrong things that we do. Now, somebody who does evil and doesn't know how to hide it is less dangerous than somebody who does evil but is smart enough and knows the words to cover. Yes. Institutions, because our behavior, our words, everything we do right is ephemeral as long as it's not anchored in something lasting. Because institutions help us maintain the good that we have and weed out the evil that is bothering us. In other words, the meaning of our awakening is that we aspire to create a new way of life. But awakening is not a simple process. An awakening that is hasty or brutal is bound to be incomplete. A deep, thorough, lasting awakening has to be well thought out, unhurried, slow and gentle, like good rain, like good lovemaking. Slow, gentle, well thought out. Now, there is a danger in incomplete, hurried awakenings, because the body gets shaken, it's hustled into action while the mind is really still asleep. The result is sleepwalking. Physical action without mental, intellectual, spiritual clarity. And the outcome of such action is predictable. It's a massacre of courageous but poorly prepared souls. A complete awakening, on the other hand, is well prepared. It's a process in which the body is not rushed into rising until the mind has woken, until the mind has taken stock of the situation, until the mind has planned the most effective routes to action and made room for contingencies, so that if a chosen route happens to be blocked, alternative routes stay open. Because motion is important, but it is the path followed that gives motion its meaning. And the path is important, but it's the goal that gives the path its meaning. Now, there is a form of incomplete awakening which looks complete on the surface. It is blindness masquerading as sight. Now, when we waken, we have healthy bodies inhabited by thinking minds. Now, when many such people with able bodies and thinking minds are united by a shared goal, consciously chosen and embraced, the resulting interaction is powerful, purposeful, and loving. Now, that interaction of minds moving towards a shared goal is the closest thing I know to religious power. Sometimes, though, able bodies can be directed not by thinking minds of their own, but by a believing heart, which, in its blind generosity, in its